Welcome friends to another r/AmITheJerk video. Did you know if you hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, you're definitely not a jerk? That said, our first story of the day is by author Wife Life. Am I the jerk for not reading my wife's upcoming novel before it releases because I just don't want to? My wife's first book is being published in August of this year. She's worked on it for a few years and is very proud of it. And I'm proud of her. But I also am not interested in reading the book before it comes out. And probably not after. It's nothing personal, obviously. I'm pro-wife and I have nothing against books. I'm quite a reader myself. Her book is simply not interesting to me, so I think it would be strange to read it. It's about a young woman with a mental illness who enters a group program and is about the quirky nature of those people in group. I read books about men exploring, men solving, men doing. Mostly science fiction, though I do throw in the occasional historical influence in classic literature. A book about a young woman simply existing is not interesting to me. At Christmas, she was excitedly talking about the upcoming year and things she was looking forward to as part of the publication journey. She mentioned release party treats, and my brother chimed in about a part of the book, asking if they would include a reference to that scene. I looked at him rather quizzically and said how he knew about that. He asked me if I'd read it, and I said no, of course not. I said that he knows I'm more of a science fiction or just non-fiction lad myself. He said that he couldn't imagine not reading his wife's book if it were to be published. I shrugged it off and said, well, it's not like you've all read it. As it should turn out, all but my young niece, 6-year-old female, had read it. I was honestly shocked. Even my dad read it? And his shelves are nothing but Tom Clancy. My wife had asked me many times to read her book, but I've told her no because of my aforementioned reasons above. But my family's making me second-guess my decisions. They all treated me like it was weird for me to not want to read about a 20-year-old woman's troubles. Am I really the jerk? I could see people deciding upon this going really hardcore one way or the other. To me, it's not about the substance of the book, it's more just about supporting your wife in their ventures, especially when they go to you and they say, hey, I want you to read this, it would be really supportive, even if it's not really your thing. So I think OP, in my opinion, is teetering towards the jerk side of things. Plus, I think their insistence on man, and being so off-put by the subject of this book is kind of weird. What do you guys think? Is OP the jerk in this situation? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by BlaneAd5996. Am I the jerk for canceling dinner when my boyfriend brought a bell to the dinner to grab the staff's attention? I, female 30, have been dating my boyfriend Rhett, male 31, for 4 months. We live in a different town and he's not from here. He's American living here. He usually visits on the weekends. This time, I decided to visit his town and eat out at a diner. Rhett was already there when I arrived to the diner. We talked some, checked the menu, then it was time to order. He pulled out a small bell out of his jacket pocket, lifted it up, and then started shaking it. It produced a loud, annoying sound. My ears started hurting. I was so confused. I asked what he was doing, and he said that he was trying to get one of the waiter staff's attention. I said it was embarrassing and he should stop right then, but he kept shaking it. I cannot begin to explain the looks we received from everyone. I demanded him to stop, but he said not till someone came and took our order. I threatened to leave the place and cancel dinner if he wouldn't, and he kept doing it. Someone came already, but I'd already gotten up, took my purse, and started making my way out. He followed me and started arguing about walking out, but I told him that I couldn't take being embarrassed by him, and he got upset and said that he didn't get why I thought the bell was embarrassing. Explained that it was a perfect solution for no longer being forced to wait till someone shows up. I asked if it was acceptable to do this in America, and he said, yes, because it's a free country and people there usually don't give a crap. But I said it's inappropriate and embarrassing here. He said I was being too sensitive and overreacted over nothing. He insisted we go back inside, but I refused. We ended up leaving. He kept on about how I ruined dinner by canceling it and offending him by acting like his behavior is shameful. I said I had a right to give an opinion on what he's done, even if he thought what he was doing was okay. But he basically told me to get off my high horse and stop calling his genius idea embarrassing. He's been sulking for days now and wanting an apology. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe it's nothing where he lives, but here, it's just unacceptable. Yeah, I'm sorry, as a resident of the United States, I've never seen anybody bring their own bell to a restaurant, lift it up, and go ding 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 ding. And frankly, if anybody did that, I would say that that person is a jerk. Our next story is by Throw1217away. Am I the jerk for hiding behind the couch so my sister wouldn't hand her screaming baby to me? My 14-year-old female, sister Della, 19-year-old female, is in college. She took her second semester off because she recently had a baby, Roxy. She knows who the father is, but they aren't in a relationship. Della came back home for the semester break to make it easier for her. Roxy has these meltdowns, don't have a better word, where she's cranky, tired, and screaming her head off. When I sing a certain song to her by a pop band I love, she calms down. I have to sing for her for an hour or more. I'm not a good singer, but Roxy likes it anyway. It also works when she's just normal fussy crying. Della always hands Roxy to me when she cries, especially during her meltdowns. Della and I had an argument a week ago about the stupidest thing. Della wanted me to stop singing a song under my breath while I was making myself a snack, and I said she can't control me. It wasn't about the noise, it was about her thinking that I'm a terrible singer and not wanting to be subjected to that god-awful noise. She told me that I was a lazy, selfish jerk who doesn't care about anyone but herself, and I said that fine. Since my singing is so bad, I wouldn't calm Roxy with it. She said fine. On Thursday, when I got home from school, my parents were working and Roxy was having one of her meltdowns. Della tried to hand me Roxy. I said no, my singing's crap and I don't want to subject anyone to it, and walked away. Then I hid behind the couch so she wouldn't be able to force me into helping with Roxy. Della thought I'd gone to a friend's and didn't look for me for a while, until she decided to call me to see when I'd be home. She heard the phone ring and was furious that I didn't come out and help her. My parents are telling me it was super immature to hide. Della's a stressed, sleep-deprived teenager, and she needed me then, and I wasn't there for her. And now I don't know. They want me to apologize, and I don't want to, but maybe I was just being petty and Della was just tired. Am I the jerk? I don't think OP was being a jerk. Their sister was being a jerk to them about their singing, which, like, everybody sings. If you're living in a house with your sibling, they're probably gonna sing, even if they're not the best singer. Like, who cares? They're gonna blow up and make a big deal about it and be a jerk and say your singing's bad? Then OP has every right to say, well, I'm not going to subject your poor baby to my singing then. It's a little petty, but it was petty from Della to begin with to complain. Our next story is by NoStructure8125. Am I the jerk for forcing my vegan views on my friend's child? I, female, 25, decided to become vegan at the beginning of this year. I watched a Minion and just sat there crying the whole time pretty much. So I decided I can't knowingly pay for animals to be treated like that anymore. Since then, I've been doing really well and I feel a lot better. I cook a lot of my own food, usually stews, curries, chili, and various other meals. My friend and her 6-year-old came round my house for a catch-up. The child asked if they could have something to eat, so I offered to make him a sandwich and listed off some of the options in my house. Peanut butter, jam, yeast extract, etc. He asked for ham. I explained that I don't keep meat in the house as I don't eat it, so I wouldn't be able to make him a ham sandwich. He then started asking me why I don't eat it, so I explained that to make ham, they have to kill pigs, and I don't agree with killing animals for food. He got really upset and started crying and asking his mom why she feeds him dead animals. And my friend got really annoyed at me for telling him where food comes from. They left pretty quickly, and my friend texted me later on, calling me all sorts of names and telling me I shouldn't push my extremist views on her child who is now refusing to eat meat. Maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut, but I feel like children have a right to know and understand what it is they're eating. And I only spoke about it because he was interested and asked me. So, am I the jerk? I don't think OP's a jerk. 6 years old, they got a mind of their own. All I did was ask you why you chose to not eat ham. And honestly, like, if the friend was trying to protect their kid from finding out that ham is from pigs, then I think that friend is trying to just, like, shelter their kid. I don't see a problem with being honest to a 6-year-old where meat comes from. It's definitely not an extremist view. This next story is by OldOutside4843. Am I the jerk for telling my sitter that I'm really disappointed? We've been using the same sitter 3 days a week, holidays and weekends, for almost 4 years. We trust him like he's our family for our 10-year-old son. My husband's been dealing with major health issues for a long time, so it's been a wonderful thing for our sitter to take our son out to do guy stuff. A couple of years ago, our son was being bullied by a classmate named Noah. A few notable incidents included pantsing him, tripping him, and spitting water at him. His parents didn't take the whole thing seriously. It got addressed and it's fine now, but our son doesn't like Noah. We know that our sitter Mike does work for other families, and we've loaned him out to other parents at our son's school. He's always been our sitter though, so it wasn't shocking when he said he was going to start working a couple of days a week with another family. What was shocking was that it was for Noah. He said it wasn't going to affect his availability with us. I said that's not the point. He knew the history between the two boys, and it felt like a sellout. Mike said he already told our son, and our son didn't seem to care one way or another, as long as it's not like he's quitting. No, our son is upset, but isn't showing it. I told him I was a bit disappointed, and of all the families he could work for, he has to work with them. So I'm gonna say OP is being a jerk in this situation. It's not like this guy babysitting the kid that did bully their son is like, I don't know, conforming to their views and saying they're right. This guy's trying to earn some money and make a living. It just doesn't mean anything. Honestly, I feel like this whole situation is such a non-story that they're really, really trying to twist into being something that it's just not. Our next story is by AITA Siswed Money. Am I the jerk for no longer contributing to my sister's wedding after she took money I gave my niece off her? I, 41-year-old male, have 3 kids. One is from my previous marriage. She had a really hard time when my ex-wife and I split and really struggled to accept my current wife. We went through family therapy at the time. Just a bit of backstory to explain my motivation. My niece, sister's child, has a great relationship with my current wife. Current wife is her teacher. She recently told my wife that she felt really lonely at home since her dad passed away, and that was only being compounded by my sister moving on very fast. Her ex passed away in June 2021, and she's now engaged and living with her current partner. I don't disapprove, but I'm worried for her daughter given how my daughter struggled, and she was in a better position since my ex-wife is still alive and a huge part of her life. One thing she mentioned was that she no longer was getting an allowance to go out with friends. She's 16 in exchange for doing chores, as my sister's too busy saving for her wedding. My wife and I offered to give her $200 so she could go out to dinner and a movie or something, and she gratefully accepted. Later that week, she showed up at our house upset because my sister had taken the money off her to put towards her wedding. I called my sister up and confronted her. She said any money given to her daughter was owed to my sister for raising her, and that she needed all the money she could get to save for her wedding. I said I was disappointed in her and would no longer be giving her the $10,000 I had planned to gift her for her wedding. She broke down and called me a jerk and said I was ruining her life, and I tried to point out how she needs to be looking after her daughter, not just herself, and she then said, "If you love her so much, then you keep her," and hung up. I'm really angry with her. My wife says I need to give her some room to breathe, and my ex said she's probably put herself under a lot of pressure to get married quickly as she's pregnant. Announced it in December, and we should be more considerate. Am I the jerk here? In my eyes, absolutely not. You, out of the kindness of your own hearts, gave your niece specifically $200 so they could have a nice experience. Then your own sister, the parent of your niece, just swiped it right off of her and put it towards something for herself. Absolutely not. I'd have the same reaction if my sister stole money from their kid that I gave to that kid specifically. And our final story of the day is by LC4353355. Am I the jerk for blowing up at my wife for going to her gender reveal appointment without me? My wife and I were expecting our first baby together. We made an appointment to find out the gender of the baby. To me, this is very important. I had hopes for a boy. Unfortunately, the day of the doctor appointment, I had to attend my friend's birthday that I remembered last minute. I asked my wife if we could cancel the appointment and go another day, but she looked shocked that I even considered canceling the appointment and going to my friend's birthday. I said I had no choice. She said canceling the doctor appointment was off the table because these appointments are restricted to specific times and dates, and we can't miss it, so she'll go alone. I told her no because that'd be selfish of her, and besides, this will ruin the news of finding out if the baby's a boy or a girl. She cut the discussion and told me to go to the birthday party. I did, then later found out she didn't cancel the doctor appointment and went with her mom. I came home seething and blew up at her. I started arguing with her about going behind my back and doing this without me. She said it wasn't her fault I prioritized a party over my child. I told her I didn't prioritize anything. She literally could have canceled and we would have went another day, but clearly she was trying to steer the fight to a direction where I look like the neglectful and irresponsible one. We fought some, then she said I'm probably angry with her because it's a girl, but I responded that she was wrong. She went outside the room claiming I was stressing her out. Now acts like I owe her an apology on top of everything else, but I feel upset and like I was deceived by her. Am I the jerk? I'm gonna say yes. Your friend's birthday, God willing, comes every single year once a year. All you have to do is say, hey buddy, I'm sorry I'm gonna miss your birthday, we got a doctor's appointment for the baby. If your friend gets upset about that, then your friend's a jerk. In my eyes, there's no reason why you should have missed that appointment. Do you guys agree? Or do you think that the wife was overreacting and should have just rescheduled? Let me know. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.